Welcome to the Horror Hangout, a podcast where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. Today's episode is a bonus special episode chatting all about a soon-to-be-released killer clown movie based on Adam Cesare's novel, which hits cinemas on the 9th of May. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by Eli Craig, the director of Clown in a Cornfield, as well as other horror films including Tucker and Dale vs. Evil and Little Evil. Welcome to the show, Eli. Hello.
Yeah, great to meet you, Ben.
Great to meet you too, Eli. Thanks so much for taking the time. We really do appreciate it. Um, and of course, congratulations on Clown in the Cornfield.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a mission impossible to get a movie made. So it feels like a thrill to get it out there in theaters. It's great.
Yeah, I bet it does. We're fast approaching the release date as well, so that must be really exciting. Before we get started, let me just read out a few details on the film, just for our listeners, so they can be aware. Quinn and her father have just moved to the quiet town of Kettle Springs, hoping for a fresh start. Instead, she discovers a fractured community that has fallen on hard times after the treasured Baypen Corn Syrup Factory is burned down. As the locals bicker amongst themselves and tensions boil over, a sinister, grinning figure emerges from the cornfields to cleanse the town of its burdens, one bloody victim at a time.
Thank you for doing that, so you don't keep asking me to do it. Thank you.
Oh no, that's okay. I
I
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
appreciate
I
it.
wouldn't have dropped on you. Please tell us everything.
Yeah.
Everything there is to
Tell
know
us,
about
what
this
is
film.
it about? And then I go into the spiel. Yeah.
But to be fair, of all films that are out there, in terms of what it's about, it's right there in the title, isn't it?
It is. It's about, a clown in a cornfield. I mean, what more do you need, really?
Yeah.
Needing
That's what you need. It's one of those films. I guess it sells itself title alone.
Yeah, I mean, really, honestly, like I think if somebody asked me, it's just about a clown in a cornfield. There's nothing more to it.
There we
the,
go.
the,
That's it.
the, the fun thing about this film actually is that there are like it's kind of I really like telling stories or making films that have a surface layer of a veneer of just pure fun, pure
Mm.
theatrics of a ride, and whether it's a film like Tucker and Dale, which is like just a comedic ride, or Little Evil, which is similar. All the films I've done have like these layers of an onion where you can cut through that first layer and you're like, okay, that's a fun, and you're like, okay, but it's also about this, and then it's also about this. And did the director even think it was about this? I don't know. Like like
Yeah.
not hitting the nail on the head with all these things, but I did think about those things, just so you
Yeah.
know. 'Cause-
I mean, Tucker and Dale versus Evil is a favorite of ours on the podcast. We covered it just a few months ago, despite the fact we've
wow,
obviously seen it dozens of times. I think we chatted about it for about 2 hours on the show, just
amazing.
really picking it apart in the best way, because we love that film. But yeah, I feel like this film has got a lot more going for it. I mean, we did say title alone, you get what you get, all you need to know, but there's so much more that kind of like unravels as the film goes on as well.
Yeah, and I mean that was the part of the book that really made me want to do it. Is I was enjoying the book. The book is written by Adam Cesare, and he's written a series of Clown in a Cornfield novels. And I was first turned on to it in 2020. Sort of, it came out around the pandemic, and it grabbed me because, like, at first you're like, okay, what a YA kind of fun title. It's a little corny, no pun intended, and
Yeah.
and then you're like, wait a minute, this is brutal, and the kills are amazing, and then you're like, these characters I'm kind of falling in love with, and then you think, holy crap, this is really a movie about something that's going on in America, and the world over, which is like this generational divide,
Yeah.
and
That
some of
was
the desire to like hold on to power by one generation by any means.
yeah.
Yeah.
That was something I think that I didn't necessarily expect. I mean, I haven't actually read the book, so I mean, I do want to now after seeing this film, but I knew there was a YA kind of like side to it. But yeah, it incredibly brutal, especially what sort of happens on screen as well.
Yeah, and I think that was important to me at this point. I've made a couple really comedy horrors, but like very much comedy first. And people have always asked me, do you want to do a horror film? And until recently, I was like, no, not really. Like, I want to make fun of horror films. I want to make fun
Yeah.
of the tropes and reverse things and make people laugh and smile. And the world's, while I've been waiting to make my next movie, the world has gotten a lot darker. and I think I've gotten a little more angry too. And so this
Yeah.
kind of gave me a chance to express some of that and also just engage with real horror.
Mm.
But on my terms, where I get to engage with real horror and suspense and action and
Yeah.
blood and gore, but also with a sense of levity.
Mm.
Because for me, I've been through some dark times in my life, and I've been through really brutal, hard things. Like I used to work as a EMT, and I used to work at Rocky Mountain Rescue, and
Oh
I
wow. Okay.
worked with life and death, you know. And the
Yeah.
one thing I always found with the edge of life and death, where people either are saved barely or they die, is a really morbid sense of humor that
Mm.
you can't if people heard you talking like as a paramedic afterward or after one of these rescues, if they heard you they think those are a bunch of sociopaths,
Yeah.
laughing
Yeah.
about what happened or like releasing this tension. But it's human nature, and I've seen it time and time again, and you're just laughing to the point where you're crying
Mm.
because of something that may not even be funny, but you find it so funny at the time because you need that release. And so
Mm.
life is about these ups and downs, and it's about learning, for me at least, to have a sense of humor during really hard times. And this movie kind of embraces that ethos.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, the comedy is there, and I think in terms of Tucker and Dale versus Evil, yes, the comedy is prevalent, but it feels like it's coming from a place of someone who really respects the genre of horror and loves the genre of horror. And while you're poking fun at it, it's kind of in good humor, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've fallen more in love with horror since even making Tucker and Dale and being like, well, I better know my stuff because all my fans think I'm like the resident expert on horror. So I try to
Yeah.
stay up to date on everything. And after making some films, you begin to respect anybody who's made a film more because you
Mm.
see like how impossible it is. And then so even the sort of bad films, like I guess this is a podcast about bad and good films.
Yeah,
And
exactly. We like to try and keep it quite even. We kind of try and cover the best and the worst, in our opinion, of course.
but even the worst ones, you're like, wow, somebody really worked hard to make this
Oh
happen.
yeah, absolutely. The amount of times it's hard to say something genuinely disparaging about a film that you know has had someone's love and attention gone into it. I mean, sometimes it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like that, but
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah,
still, like we definitely respect that. I can't even begin to imagine like the process of filmmaking, really.
yeah. But it's fun to see also the good elements of it and also laugh at the bad elements and also be like, well,
Yeah.
maybe this person had a sense of humor about how bad this was.
Yeah,
That's always
and
fun to me.
sometimes the bad ones can be even more entertaining in by themselves, can't they? I feel like I always have the best time talking about the bad ones.
Well, let's try to have a good time. I hope I'm not on that list.
Oh, absolutely not. No way, no way, absolutely not.
Yeah.
This was a blast. I really did enjoy this, and so I mean, obviously in terms of reading the book, did you kind of just approach Adam Caesar for this? How what has his involvement been sort of throughout the process?
Well, fortunately, I was approached by the guys at Temple Hill, and who had not released Smile yet, but I guess they were had just shot it.
Mm,
And I read an early version of the script by Carter Blanchard that was pretty much like straight horror action, but it had a lot of cool elements in it. And then I went to the book immediately and was like, oh, okay, this goes even deeper. How can I add to this? And then I pitched myself to them to be a part of the project, to have my pass at a rewrite at it, and to really make it like feel like mine. My material, if I'm directing something, it just has to, I have to hear the dialogue in my head. I have to really spend time. And this isn't any disparaging thing to writers on a project, but like I don't know how to direct something that I didn't like write. And
yeah.
so I have to kind of rewrite all the dialogue, basically rewrite the scene so each action line is something I can visualize and see how it's going to work. And so that is basically prep for me is to in this case rewrite a script. Most of the stuff I've done that has been released has been like ideas that I came up with.
Mm,
But this was like a great collaboration. I liked working with the producers. Doesn't always work that way. And then I called Adam, my son at the time, who was, I don't know, he was pretty young. He's aged from like, I think we started working on this project when he was like maybe 15, and now he's 18, maybe even 14. But he said to me,
Wow.
you have to immediately check in with the author. Like the worst thing you could do as a director is like not really know the author and really talk to him. And I just
Mm,
made sure I had a Zoom call with Adam Cesare and really talked out the things that were really important to him.
mm.
And they show in his book as well. So I just kind of like wrote those things down and made sure I tackled those themes that were like really, really important to him. And since then, he came on set one day and I got to meet him, which was great. And he was really excited to see the parade, the Friendo float. That's like this giant 20
Yeah,
foot
I bet.
Friendo.
I bet.
And we got to, talk. And then since then, touring, going to South by, we've been at all these events together. We've become really good friends. And I will say, if there's a sequel, we're going to be doing it together as a writing team.
I mean, that is one of the questions I've got down here. Obviously, there are a couple of sequels to the books as well. So, do you feel like there's enough there to potentially make another one of these films?
Oh, there's so much there. I mean, he has a whole world created around Kettle Springs and around
Mm,
um, who Friendo is and his reappearance. And I mean, people who love the series will know that the series goes quite far and quite deep and quite dark at times, um, which is exciting for me because I get to balance that out. And we're both kind of fans of each other, and
oh, that's great. Yeah.
we're kind of excited to get to work together and balance these two tones.
When you say about writing a lot of the dialogue, how did you find writing dialogue for this like new generation of essentially slasher victim? Whereas in Tucker and Dale versus Evil, it's very on the nose, it's very meta. But
Mhm.
now it's a completely different generation. Like that their values are different, technology they use is completely different. How did you find writing for this generation of
Well, I
slasher
try
victim?
not to like talk down to, especially to Gen Z. I think so many writers like my age, I'm like Gen X. I'm getting older, man. It's happening. Um, but I read so many scripts that it's just not how people talk. And I think that, so when I'm writing, I kind of write the dialogue the way I would say it or the way my generation would say it, but I really think more specifically about how that character would deliver it, the dialogue. Like I really get, it's almost like acting when you're writing dialogue. You're hearing it in your head and you're becoming that character for a second. You're trying to like grab out of the ether. I really do believe ideas come from out there and not all within here, that we're a part of a zeitgeist or a collective unconscious. And when you tap into that like creative field, you could channel it. That's sort of my, you know,
Mm,
mystical
yeah.
creative dialogue I have. But when you do channel it, you're like, oh, I really know that character. And then you cast that person and you're like, that's the person I see. And then there's a dialogue with that person to be like, oh, you know what? I don't see you saying the line this way. Like, how
Mm.
do you think you'd say that line? And like, well, I might say it like this. And then there's about a bunch of back and forth. And I love that process too, because then, if you have some rehearsal time, you're reworking the dialogue to fit the
Mm.
actor.
It does feel like it feels incredibly realistic. There are plenty of films out there where the dialogue maybe doesn't quite stick, and I feel like that kind of everything else kind of comes unglued when the dialogue doesn't
Yeah.
feel quite right. But this, it feels like it works, and some really great dynamic characters as well. Um, do you have a relationship with clowns in horror? Have you had? Is there any particular clown that you were kind of scared of in the past, or any that you kind of looked towards when you were sort of directing this film?
Well, I look toward a lot of clowns to not be that, right? Like I
Yes, I
definitely
was gonna
look
say,
toward
yeah.
Pennywise and be like, I gotta stay away from Pennywise. I gotta do something that's like specifically our own style and doesn't copycat anything. And there are, I mean, art has a top hat as well, but art is
Yeah.
quite a different clown. And at the time I had watched, I have to say like Terrifier 1 and 2 are different. They're different animals like than the
Yeah,
movies I
completely
make.
different. You're right. Yeah.
Terrifier 3, it played at TIFF the same time that we were trying to sell Clown in
Oh
a
wow.
Cornfield
Okay.
at TIFF. So when it became, I thought we were going to play this past Halloween. So
Mm.
like at Halloween of 2014. And wouldn't that have been funny if it was like Friendo and Art
Yeah,
the Clown in the theater at the same time?
head to head.
Um, Boy, we'd have to do some Barbieheimer kind of thing there. Um,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
ours just got took a little longer to come to theaters, and everybody always asked me like, "Oh, is it hard now that Art is out there?" And that he was such a success, and I'm glad that they're so different. And I see, clowns as like a genre at this point of horror,
Mm.
and this is different than all the other clowns, very specific, and it's a mask that they wear that is villainous, and I always find clowns to just be quite scary in and of themselves. Um, so I watched them all, but I was trying to watch everything to not emulate them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
uh,
I guess it's kind of a blessing because I feel like it will draw a different audience who think, oh, it's going to be like Terrifier, it's going to be like this, and when
yeah,
it isn't, that's probably like a nice surprise. Okay, this is completely different. It doesn't feel like it's just a. Even though obviously I know it filmed. Was it late
yeah,
2023? You
yeah,
did
yeah,
you film
exactly.
this? Yeah, and obviously the book came out in 2020 as well. Um, yeah. Um, Best way to see the film, would you say, for audiences? Would you say to go and see it in theaters with audiences, to react to everything with people? Do you think it's that kind of film?
What do you expect me to say?
Well, yeah, yeah, sorry. Probably
No,
not the
I
best
kind
phrased
of the
question,
best
but
way is to go onto a torrent, see if you can get it for free.
oh
Um,
no.
no, never do that
No, no,
because
no.
what
Never do that.
happens is all you Tucker and Dale fans that did that, by the way, make it much more difficult for me to make another one. And a lot of people did torrent Tucker and Dale. So I mean, honestly, like these things are like primal, horror films and comedies both. This is a horror film first with elements of comedy, are just meant to see with a crowd. They're better with a community. And it's when I saw this at South by Southwest, really for the first time, with like 1,200 people in the Paramount Theater, and it was like the
Wow, yeah.
cheers and uh, the laughs and the all the excitement was like a part of the experience. So yeah, if you get the chance, I mean, go support indie filmmaking and horror and just sort of a bit of a new take on clown horror in your local cinema.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Go and check it out on the biggest screen possible. Take all your friends, take all your friendos, and enjoy enjoy Clown in a Cornfield. Eli, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much. Is there a best place for our audiences to keep up to speed with you and your current and future projects?
Yes, I have finally kind of said I'm going to be on social media.
Okay.
It's embarrassing how bad I am at it. So you can laugh at me or write me say, dude, you need to get like a publicist. But no, I do it all myself. So you could go on Instagram and find me and follow me there. And there's other sites. I also run Tucker and Dale website and the Tucker and Dale Facebook site, which is quite
Oh
fun
wow.
because people are that's where I post something about Tucker and Dale and you get like thousands of people saying this is my favorite movie,
Yeah.
make another one. And so I get as much kind of grief about it as joy, like why is there not a sequel to Tucker and Dale? And there's a long story behind that, we won't get into it here.
Yeah.
But yeah, find me on Instagram and please like just follow me to make me feel like I'm a part of Instagram community.
Which you are. Follow you. Tell everybody how much they love Tucker and Dale versus Evil. I will also, I will double up on that and say, please make a sequel. We would, all of us here at Horror Hangout would absolutely love that. I know our listeners would,
Awesome. Oh,
as well.
I'll keep trying.
Keep
Thanks.
trying, please do. But thank you so much, Eli. It's been a pleasure. Thanks everybody for listening. Visit horrorhangout.co.uk for all of our content in one place. Thanks, Eli, and again, congratulations on Clown in a Cornfield. Looking forward to catching up again.
Great. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks very much, Eli. Take care.